Follow the law by barring inharmonious, hazardous development that impairs desirability of our neighborhood. This is the city, Yorba Linda, California. This southern gateway leads to a quiet, low-density neighborhood. Houses are 1 and 2 stories with large yards. Many have owned here for decades. Locals escape to the solitude of the nearby lake bed to enjoy wildlife and views. Residents made large investments in buying and renovating their homes, in reliance on zoning restrictions permitting only 1 or 2 modest houses like theirs per acre. Then came infamous Measure I, where a small majority of a small minority of registered voters increased the maximum potential density of this gateway property based on city assurances that any actual development must be harmonious with the neighborhood. Enter the developer who has sought to push development to its limits. Legally, zoning does not automatically allow anything to be built. Rather, every development is subject to full legal and aesthetic review by the city and the public. This is where we come in. We are the neighbors. We carry common sense, as well as intimate knowledge about what fits our neighborhood. We've invested significant personal time as well as money on expert advice to demonstrate for city leaders and staff that this project is inharmonious, hazardous, and will forever impair desirability of investment and occupancy throughout our neighborhood. We're glad the zoning code legally requires denial of developments that are inharmonious, hazardous, or impair desirability of investment or occupancy nearby. We're also grateful the Planning Commission fulfilled its legal duty by denying this project 4-1, based on many factors, including these. Here are a few words from Commissioner Mole on some of his reasons for denying the project.
I also recognize that Measure I allowed you to inherit more land rights than you had previously. And, approximately 7,500 people in the city of Yorba Linda said, you can develop 30 units per acre, up to 30 units per acre. But it didn't say you could do it in an irresponsible way. And I know that's a big word to place on the shoulders of a developer. But I see that you're trying to serve 2 masters at one time. You're trying to develop at the highest density possible for a project while not maintaining an oil well, but an oil field. And I don't see how we can take a parcel and place it at the highest density possible and maintain oil well operations. When the public voted to give that density component, they didn't take into consideration all the factors and problems with the site. I think that the average person would have considered the oil operations are done, capped, and completed, and then you would move on to develop. And I think that everyone here would agree that if you didn't have an open operating oil field on the site, that the development might look quite different. And in fact, this plan forces you to push all of your units to the perimeter of the property, substantially raising the height of the buildings. In the design review process and architectural standards, we talk about height restrictions for projects like this. And the spirit of that is to create some type of ceiling for those that live around it. And the way that your project is situated next to Lakeview, it actually creates a much higher effect when you're traveling from the street side. And I don't see how this project is relevant to the neighborhood. I value your property rights. I value your right to be able to develop the property, and I think that you should develop something there. But it's got to be responsible with the neighborhood that it's being developed in. And I don't see, with an ongoing oil well operations, the spacing needed from the oil well heads to the buildings, and the transition from that building to your closest neighbors, I cannot support the project.